And we're live.
Should I join Golden State or should I go sit front row at the Scarborough Shooting Stars?
You want to watch J. Cole and Jalen Harris go off?
No, I was actually supposed to go to one of the games, but I might throw my beer at Drake. Anyway, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever time it is for you right now. Just know that you are locked in onto the point with
Skip
and the King. You guys know what to do. Go down there, click subscribe, click like, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Thank you guys for your support throughout the whole time that we've been doing this. And thank you for loving our fantastic guests, especially this man right here, the one and only Mr. Jas Grewal, content editor for Toronto Star. You guys, he knows his stuff. Former reporter, great guy, very good friend. So, Jas, how you doing today, my man?
I'm doing well, man. You mentioned the Scarborough game. My buddy actually played against J. Cole on Friday. No, Tuesday. Yeah, yesterday. He dropped 38 on him. They got blown out. I think J. Cole had like a career high 6 points. But, no,
that good, eh?
Yeah, he made fun of it on Twitter. No, honestly, it's awesome that the CEBL is taking off like it is, you know. I know you don't like Drake, but it's always good for publicity, right, Brian? You and LeBron, your two favorite guys.
Yeah. I love him more than I would eat. I can't say. No. Anyway, so Jas, thank you for coming back on the show. It's been a while. I noticed a lot of people that have watched the show miss you, and they have asked for you. So it's great that you're here. So let's get it right into this. Based on your background, like you might have a little insight. You might have a little insider information. Okay, don't Martha Stewart it, right? But there seems to be a player on the Toronto Raptors that is a scruntle in OG Anunoby. Those are the reports. We don't know. I don't know him, right? Do you think with everything that's going on, do you think he will be suited up in a Raptors uniform next year?
Right away, my personal take right away was no. And as far as the disgruntled rumors, I think he won't be in another uniform other than the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, he's not gonna be in a Raptors uniform. Like, all right.
Sorry, I should just specify that. No, I wasn't gonna hit you with that. No, I genuinely believe he'll be playing next year with the Raptors. And the whole disgruntled, player rumors or whatever, Dan Tolzman shot those down yesterday in the press conference. I think Jake Fisher at Bleacher Report first mentioned that, and he also mentioned, which I don't think gets a lot of talk, is the fact that OG hasn't directly gone to the front office or made it known that he wants to be traded or moved elsewhere. So this is more so outside external forces sort of like creating this narrative, I think. And another thing, another narrative around that whole push to get OG out is that, Scotty rising up, Pascal controlling the ball more, Fred controlling the ball. I guess he feels like the odd man out. Again, this isn't coming from his mouth. This is sort of the rumors surrounding the entire OG trade situation. I don't see that to be true. OG had one of his best years. I know he missed a ton of games, and that's sort of been, the prevailing theme throughout his career. But I thought he really took some steps forward last year. I mean, averaged 17 points. Shot a decent percentage from three. It may have been down from years prior, but especially in November, what we saw, his ability to create when Pascal was out. I think he sees his future with the Raptors, and I think Tolzman, I think Masai, I think Bobby, they all know that OG is a part of the core. At the end of season presser, they mentioned that OG is a part of the core. They, repeatedly mentioned that to reporters. So I don't think anyone has plans to move OG. I don't think OG wants to move. Again, you don't know the situation unless you speak to the guy directly. But if I had to put, my money on it, if I had to wager on it, no, I think OG is going to be your next to Scott and Pascal, Gary, Precious, Fred. I think the same core is going to be intact. And I don't know from size. None of those trades, I'm sure we'll get into it later, none of them seem appetizing or appealing to the Raptors. Unless you're a big Rudy Gobert fan.
Whoa. Don't spoil it. We'll get into that. Okay? No spoilers.
It's not a spoiler. Trust me. Everyone knows about the Gobert stuff, man. It's garbage.
Exactly.
It's a bad trade is what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jazz. Thank you for your insight. I know you can't spill the beans on certain things that you know. So, Skip.
Yo.
Will the Raptor... Okay, Skip. I've said this before. If you were a tall African black man named Masai Ujiri, okay, what would you do at this point when it comes to OG Anunoby based on these reports that we've heard?
Absolutely nothing. OG is not getting traded, like full stop. I don't think he's getting traded at all. I don't even think it's a conversation. There's a lot of buzz, there's a lot of rumors, but it's all based on like one report that's very thin. There's really very little out there. There's like this little whisper that OG isn't super happy with his role. And there's also these images circulating of Nick Nurse's book where OG says one time Fred VanVleet demands the ball too much. Like, okay, big deal. Like, is that where this is coming from? Like, I honestly don't know where any of this is coming from. I haven't seen any evidence that he's super unhappy with his role. He was given a chance to shine early in the season. Obviously, injuries played a part. Other guys coming back played a part, and he fit back into his sort of more, you call it a lesser role. But he's still absolutely a key part of this team. The team has said over and over again that he's a part of the core going forward. He is one of the... He's not a superstar, right? He's not like this next level superstar, but he is, when you go down that one level or those two levels to that really, really, really good NBA regular, he's right in that place, and he really makes the Raptors a better team. So I don't think there's any pressure on the Raptors to trade him, unless he literally goes to the front office and says, I want out. And even then he doesn't have leverage, but he could, if he's really, really unhappy and he goes to the front office and he demands a trade, maybe you start hunting around. But right now I think this is all just a bunch of smoke coming from other teams. And yeah, of course, other teams want OG Anunoby. Like, he's a really good asset. He's a really good asset. Like, I want Alicia Cuthbert. Doesn't mean I'm going to get her. Like, let's be real.
He's on a good deal as well, right? He's only midway through his 4-year deal. So, I mean, 18, 19 million for a guy who's one of the best 3-and-D guys in the NBA. I mean, availability might be one of those stains on his resume, obviously. Masai knew that going into the draft, knee injury. So, but yeah, no, this is, to Skip's point, this is one of the best, I wouldn't say regular players, but like the 3-and-D guys, he's upper echelon for sure.
So actually, that kind of speaks in my next point. So what I was going to get into is trade value, right? So we're talking
wait. Hold on. I didn't say anything about OG yet.
Oh yeah, get in there. Okay. I'll finish my point after.
Yes. Let me tell you something. OG is the best defender your Toronto Raptors have. Is there a question about that, guys? Can you see
Not
anybody
really.
better?
I mean, there's a couple of guys with an argument, but basically,
yeah, for sure. Especially with
by far,
but yeah,
he is the best all-around defender on the Raptors squad. Okay, Now people have been stirring the pot. Yes, like you just mentioned, Jazz. People, and Skip, so did you. People have been stirring the pot. I think they're trying to cause some kind of turmoil within the Raptors organization to get another team. Like, other teams are doing it, trying to get OG Anunoby, because who wouldn't want OG Anunoby on their team? Like, really, seriously, he's not a liability. He's more of an asset. I think what OG has put out, like incrementally over the years, since his first year, he has produced more, like even points per game, his defense, he's understood his role. People, I think, out there that did put this out are thinking that, like, trying to, like, cause some, yeah, I'm going to say it, bullshit between him and Scotty Barnes. Like, Scotty coming in, we all know he's going to be the man. Everybody, all you guys out there, you guys know Scotty's going to be the man of this team.
And a year ago, it was Kendrick Perkins saying the same thing about Siakam. So,
yeah, carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on. I don't care what Kendrick Perkins has to say. He could barely speak. He's
definitely entertaining.
I don't care what Kendrick Perkins has to say. But they maybe were trying to stir the pot with that because, like I said, Scotty's going to be the man. We all know this. OG thought he could be the man. But then when you look at the Raptors roster, like you touched on slightly there, Jazz, when the ball is being shared around, here, you guys want it? When the ball is being shared around, you have players such as Freddie, mommy's favorite player. You got Pascal. You got OG. You got Scotty, right? You got Boucher. You got all these players, Precious, Chem. You got all these guys that can touch the ball. Where does the ball go? So I think people are trying to more centralize. Here's my theory. People are trying to more centralize the Raptors style as what the rest of the league is doing, where you have a dominant 1 or 2 3 4 when it comes to dominancy. But the Raptors are changing the game. They're changing the culture with the positionless, where it doesn't matter who you are. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, and with let's just say OG is disgruntled, and we're all very aware that the Raptors are lacking something to get them to the next championship. If OG were to leave, where would you send him, and what would you get? Jazz, please.
Before I delve into that, one thing with OG is what he's considered maybe the 3rd, 4th option on the Raptors right now, just based on his given skill set, what he's able to do. If he goes to another team, assuming he wants to win, where's his role in that sense? Does he get a higher sort of opportunity somewhere else on a championship contending team? I don't see that. I see his fit where he is right now, 3-4. Like you said, he's in a switch-heavy defense, which caters to his, his versatility, able to guard different guys and stuff like that. So in terms of the grass may be greener on the other side, I'm not sure that's the situation. I think he does see the Scotty Barnes situation as not a threat, but something definitely to keep an eye out on. If we're talking strictly from the Raptors, obviously they need size, they need shooting. I think those are 2 big things that they need. Every team can take a wing that can shoot and play defense, obviously. There's a few options. Personally, I don't like any of the trade ideas out there. And I know you guys, we sort of spoke about it, how there's really nothing appealing out there. But if you want to, go into the Gobert stuff, I just, to give up OG, a bunch of picks, probably Gary Trent, Boucher, whatever it takes to match up the salary, I just don't think it's worth it. To get a guy like Gobert, who obviously is a defensive stalwart, but he's so limited offensively. You saw the Raptors' offensive problems in the playoffs, the half court. Rudy Gobert doesn't solve that situation. Then there's other options like in Portland, Larry Nance, Nazir Little, some picks for OG and Anunoby. For Portland, that might be nice and, might help, Dame. I don't think it pushes them over the edge by any means, but, it's
I
a little
thought
bit
they
more.
would target Nurkic for Portland.
No, well, from the same.
Nurkic is a free agent, though.
Yeah, so is he restricted?
I don't have that in front of me right now.
Yeah. So Josh Hart, like some of those guys, and I think they're even looking to extend Josh Hart. They like him down in Portland. So I don't see anything there. Then you got the Pelicans one. I don't want to steal all the trade ideas, but the Pelicans one. The Pelicans one.
Okay, dude, you got to tell me about this.
Yeah.
From what I saw online, it was, I think it was, what did the Pelicans have? The 8th pick? And then they're going to offer Trey Murphy, and then.
Why are the Raptors trading OG for picks? Like
I prefaced before this.
Look, if they
nothing.
want to give us Brandon Ingram, like, okay, I'll listen. Like,
Sure.
Zion, I might listen. Like, that's about it.
Well, that's sort of the funny thing about these rumors. There's nothing that sort of like caters to the Raptors' needs or fills a hole. You're essentially shifting holes is what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get rid of OG and you might solve the big man situation or whatever, and then you got a problem with the wing. And Raptors fans saw what Harden, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey did to the Raptors during that Philly series. There was a lot of problems there on the wings, and OG can only cover up so much. So I think, and obviously having a big down there is helpful. I'm not a big fan of the trade rumors. There's a bunch of other ones that I thought really had no weight.
Like what?
Again, well, there's a trade rumor to the New York Knicks, which I wasn't a big fan of. Yeah.
You're coming up with some crazy stuff out of left
Well,
field.
this is what happens when you guys are involved in trade rumors, right? Teams are starting to cobble up ideas, assets that they can move. That'll benefit their team. That'll benefit their team, but that won't benefit the Raptors at all. Like I mentioned.
What a year.
What trade?
New York.
Oh, so I'm trying to think of an asset. Look, the guys that I do like on New York, like Mitchell Robinson. I like Alec Burke, but I wouldn't want him on the Raptors. Like, I like these guys. Emmanuel Quickly, we're not going to get him. So if those guys aren't in the conversation, then what are the Knicks really offering of any sort of value? So I think Masai and Tolzman and hopefully OG are happy with keeping things as they are, and then you never know. Next year, OG's role might expand a little bit more. Scotty gets more minutes. Maybe Fred plays off ball. Maybe OG becomes more of a ball handler in the pick and roll. We saw sort of flashes of that. I just don't think it's time to put a lid on this core. And I think OG knows that this is only going to be conducive to his success in the league. He just has to play more. That's it. More OG, more defense, more 3-point shooting,
more health.
More health. Exactly. So
yeah, he did miss the whole finals. Right?
Yeah. And they still won. They had a guy named Kawhi, so that was helpful.
Who's number 2? Anyway,
Mr. Leonard.
Skip. Okay, I know you don't want to see OG go, and I know you think OG won't go. But if he were to go, are there any potential landing spots? And if there were potential landing spots, who would you want?
Okay.
In return.
So I'm going to get to that.
Kill us. Break the internet right now.
I'm going to get to that. I am going to come up with a trade for you, but I just want to preface it with kind of a little bit of a thought exercise. So OG Anunoby, you say he's like the 3rd or 4th option.
Not in school anymore. What do I need to get going?
3rd or 4th option on the Raptors. But if you're talking about trade value, like let's just talk about pure trade value. I think he's probably maybe the 2nd most valuable asset on the Raptors. Probably tied with Siakam or a little behind Siakam, so maybe 3rd. I mean, obviously Scotty would be the most valuable asset they have. Then you go down to Pascal because he's got the higher ceiling. But then OG's right there because he's
what about Gary Trent?
Younger. He's not in the same conversation.
No. Okay.
Yeah. So it really comes down to that. And I think if you go like trade value, when you think about trade value, it's not just how good a player is. It's his age, it's his contract, it's his fit. And I think with OG Anunoby, those things, he ticks all those boxes perfectly. I mean, he's going into his age 25 season. He's right in the middle of his prime. He's got 2 more years on his contract. It's an affordable contract. It's a contract that matches up with really anyone in the league. And he's a great fit with this Raptors team. Like, it's not an accident that the Raptors were, 31-17 with him last year and 17-17 without him. He makes what they do better, and he fills the gaps that they don't have to fill elsewhere. So he's absolutely just a key part of this team. And when you're looking at trade value, I mean, I kind of look at the whole league, and I don't know if I could find 30 players who are more valuable than OG Anunoby. You go down the tiers. I mean,
did you get roasted for that the other night?
No, I mean, think about it. Like, for real, Obviously, you got so you got your tier one would be your mega stars, like your superstars in their prime, young. That's like Giannis, Embiid, Jokic, maybe Tatum, Luka. Then below that, you have your lottery picks who are just coming up. They're on the rise. You've got like Anthony Edwards, Scotty Cater in there. Those guys are super, super valuable because they're on the rookie deals. And then the tier behind that is where you get into like your mega stars who are maybe a little bit older, maybe have really bloated contracts.
Westbrook, LeBron.
Well,
Carmelo.
I'm thinking more like
Pretty much the whole Lakers team.
Well, not Carmelo. Carmelo's past that point. But I'm thinking more like a KD, a Paul George, someone like that. So if you take those three tiers and you fit OG Anunoby in terms of value, I think he's right there, kind of below that third tier. And I'm not even sure I would trade him for one of those guys like a Paul George or whatever.
Yeah.
Like just because you'd obviously be winning that trade in the short term, but that's a trade the 2018-19 Raptors made. That's a trade you make if you're right on the cusp of winning a title, because you're trading all this future value for a slight, not slight, but for an upgrade in the next year or two. So I think OG slides in right about there. And you go any lower than that, you go into rotational players, you go into regulars, you're basically not winning that trade. You're giving up some defense for some offense, or you're giving up some, or you're adding some extra salary in the future, or or you have to throw in someone else to make the salaries match. It gets really messy kind of below that tier of that third tier. So, I mean, I think I'd have to go down the list and really draw it out. But I think, yeah, you could make an argument 30th most valuable player in the NBA, maybe 35th.
Skip, give me a trade.
So, yes, to get to your question. So, like I said, I don't think that there's a trade out there. But the one trade that I saw on the internet, and I'm going to kind of change a little bit for my own purposes.
The internet messes your brain up like it's messing you guys up now watching this. Go on, Skip.
So I think if there's a way for the Raptors to call up Phoenix and work out a deal
with Ayton?
For Ayton and Jay Crowder, for OG and Kem Birch, and there's probably picks involved. Don't get me wrong.
I would do that.
So here's the thought with that deal. So the idea is you get in Ayton, you get a really young big man who has a lot of upside, who's a really talented player right now. He has problems, don't get me wrong. He has defensive problems. He has struggled in the playoffs. But he is kind of that guy you could look at as a potentially budding star who could replace what OG does in that category. And then in a guy like Jay Crowder, you replace what OG does for this year. To some extent. I mean, Jay Crowder's not quite on the same level, but he's very similar type of player in terms of being that fifth option who plugs a lot of holes and just kind of really helps you out all over the place. That's a trade that I would consider. I'm not even saying I would do it. That's a trade that would get me thinking pretty hard.
That's interesting because Phoenix has no leverage with Ayton right now. Everybody in around the league knows he wants out. Yeah. You know, there's not going to be any future there. So that would help in the Raptors' sort of favor. For me, like as much as I love Ayton, I would want something in the top 10 pick range. If we are going to lose OG, I would want somebody that's younger who has a chance to, become a better player.
Ayton was number 1 overall, like what, 4 years ago?
He was, but he's going to demand the max, and I'm not sure Udry's going to want to pay that price tag, right? So that's especially for a big guy, right? Like a lot of that money.
That is the thing. That is the thing. It really does depend on the contract, and it depends on the contract, even what the trade would look like, because I think you still have to work out salary matching.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about a max, then I'd probably walk away from that deal. If you're talking about, like a 20, 25, like a little more money than OG's making, maybe I can talk myself into it. I do think it's kind of one of the more interesting options that are kind of out there on the table. I'm still not 100% sold on it. I kind of think you just roll with what you got. But if you really want to go out there and take a big gamble on something, I think that might be
that's part of the reason. That's part of the reason Ayton and the Suns are at such odds with each other is because they're not willing to fork over that cash for him, and he sees that as someone
and that's what he wants. He's been like publicly, like literally begging for that kind of money on his contract, right?
Yeah, there's a few options, but you move over the OG contract. Kem's not making much, but If somehow you can get Gary Trent in that trade and then you snag a Mikal Bridges or something like that, that'd be nice. But
Oh, that'd be
Wishing
for the moon a little bit.
That's a whole lot of finessing by Masai. But
Jeez,
personally,
that's a 2K team right there, bro.
Hey, maybe the league's down on Mikal after the Luka Doncic series. We'll see.
So it's not so much about Ayton in particular. I mean, the big man thing is a big question, but it's also about. I don't think they need to trade OG for picks. I don't see any value in doing that. This team is ready to compete now. I don't see any value in trading him for an old player because this team isn't quite that ready to compete right now. So what you need is a guy who can come up and be that next player, which honestly is OG. But if you're going to go out and look for something, that's what you're looking for.
But
what kind of fits that window.
Skip, you said it there because you and I have been harping on this for the last couple of weeks that the Raps got to run it back.
Yeah.
Right. I've also said there's no point in them drafting another player, right? Getting another younger player, somebody else to develop. What are we going to stick in the past and just try to keep building? Let's live in the now and let's keep going with it. So I do like what you said. Jas, do you have any thoughts about that?
I actually disagree with you guys. I don't think that the Raptors are that close to becoming title contenders at all. I think right now what you want to do is stockpile those drafts and build those assets and have trade chips that you can bargain across the league.
What are you, Danny Ainge?
Then you should be trading Van Vliet because he's a couple years older.
Hey, I'm on board. I'm on board with moving Van Vliet. I love the guy.
I don't see why you trade OG for assets. I think you trade.
Oh no.
Move the higher end of older guys on the roster for that. Like, not that they're that much older, but
yeah, I agree with you. I want to keep OG. I think he's part of this core. I'm just speaking hypothetically. If the Raptors were to move it, I would want a top 8 pick. You might be able to grab like a Shaden Sharp. I doubt he drops that low, but like you never know. There's a bunch of young, and if there's anyone I trust with the draft, it's Masai and Bobby, and I just feel like it's always better to go younger. Assets in terms around the league, they're more appealing when they're younger, higher upside. And I think the Raptors are a few years away.
Don't we all like it when it's younger?
Yeah, you need a superstar on this team. At the end of the day, you need a Joel Embiid, a Jimmy Butler's, a semi-superstar. But you need someone that's going to be able to take that mantle. I think Scotty's the guy, and he's not ready yet. I mean, he needs a few years under his belt. So.
But they're grooming him. The
timeline is 2 years out, I think, maybe 3.
Yeah. They're definitely grooming him to be the man on this team. And we all can see it coming. The whole league can see it coming. They saw it last night. In game 3, they saw it in Boston. They all know. Real recognize real. Scotty, he's definitely going to take the mantle. I don't think sorry, Jas. I got to disagree with you, man.
No.
Like, okay, maybe get an asset. Okay, cool. I'll compromise with you on that one. Get an asset to move. But to have someone to play, I think they're set with this young core.
Yeah. This is all hypothetical, man. If we're moving OG, this is the only situation. Or I like
I know we're all talking shit right now.
Yeah. So I want to keep OG, so I don't want any OG haters coming into the comment section. Like, I love OG to death. This is one of those situations where we're like, okay, but if. And it's just like, I would want to get an asset. And it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who's going to play on your team. You can, again, package him with someone else. A Fred VanVleet. Get a young point guard who can switch on defense. Not that Fred can't switch, but, he's 5'10", man, at the end of the day. So he has his limitations. And you guys saw what the Raptors did against Philly when they had a 6'6" plus lineup on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, it had its leaks, obviously, but you saw the defensive.
Switching OG for a center, like, that makes that a lot weaker. Obviously, then you have someone to guard Embiid in theory, but it's got to be a real monster of a big man. So you're kind of, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, it's been a great conversation. Are we good with this? So we all agree.
We want to keep OG.
Can we put these rumors to bed and wait until there's some actual fire behind that smoke? Like,
Dan Tolzman already put it to bed. As far as I'm concerned, the OG stuff quiets down now.
Put it to bed. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur, whatever. Put it to bed. Okay?
Yeah, like, if you want OG, come at us with your best player, your best asset. whatever the case may be. And the Raptors might listen, but I don't even know why they'd listen. Like, let's be real.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram would look nice in the Raptors.
Yeah.
Hey, Portland apparently it was. I heard Nurkic and the 7th pick, but
I still wouldn't.
Again, like
For OG?
Yeah.
No.
What's the point? We already got a young core. Why do we? I said we. Why do the Raptors need that? They don't need a young. They need to grow. They need to build and develop, and I think that's what it should be. Before we get out of here, Jas, my man, do you have any last words, final words for the lovely ladies and gentlemen out there that are watching?
I just wanted to mention that the NBA Finals. I was talking to Skip about it earlier. I'm curious to get your predictions on it. I got the Warriors in 7. I don't feel great about it.
So did I.
Did you feel good about it or what?
Yeah, I still feel good about it.
We dropped a prediction episode last week. I think I said Boston in 6. I might have said Boston in 7.
You said Boston in 6.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a hot one.
I think this is Boston's year. I'm just a little worried that Golden State will find that extra gear and just blow them out of the water. And they've come close, but they're still losing the series. So, I mean...
No, you're right.
I wanted to do a whole episode on this by myself because let me tell you something. I'll just give you a snippet. Okay. Boston, yeah, they're young, they're hungry. Young coach, right? First year coach, right? Like Skip said before, like kind of like how the Raptors were in 2019 with a first year coach and a young, hungry team. Skip, you did say that,
and a great defense.
And a good defense, the number 1 defense in the league. But then you're facing the number 2 defense. Now, let me tell you something about Golden State. The whole key to them winning is Klay Thompson. He's been a ghost.
He was good last night.
Yeah, he played well last night.
I think it might even be Draymond is their key more than Klay, but
him and Jordan.
Draymond is their constant. Like if you do math, Draymond is their constant.
Yesterday he was constantly forgettable. He had like 2 points, 4 rebounds.
He did nothing. So without him, it's over. But if Klay can actually hit those shots, that's the key to me. That's what I was doing when I was watching.
I mean, Klay is not what he was 3 years ago. Like, there's no question about that. But he's still dangerous.
You did say that.
He's still dangerous. Yeah.
Thanks, Danny Green.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
Ouch.
On that note,
stay classy. But honestly, it's got to be about Klay. If Klay can step up, Steph's doing his thing. Jordan Poole's doing his thing. I'm loving what I'm seeing from our Canadian boy, Andrew Wiggins. I'm loving what I'm seeing from their whole team as a team, like with constant passing, sharing the ball. I'm loving it. As a coach, I appreciate it. But like I said, Klay is the key, man.
Yeah.
Step up. Boston in 6, like Skip would say, and god damn it, I owe you a beer for that one.
Yeah. It's a non-step minutes essentially. As soon as Steph sits down, like if Poole doesn't have it going, if their defense isn't up to par, it's just everything just crumbles. Yeah. You just hope for that third quarter Warriors explosion. Klay and Steph do their thing.
I mean, this happened every single game in the series.
Yeah, pretty much. In the first 2 games, it was basically 1 quarter where they just collapsed.
Yeah.
And that's what changed everything. Okay, Jas, thank you for coming on the show, my man. Got nothing but love for you. Send a shout out to my man Ty over there. Thank you very much, Arturas, for the thumbnail that you guys just clicked on. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. Skip. Whatever. I'll see you.
All right.
All right. So on behalf of myself, Jas, and the one and only Simon Broder, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night, and
peace.